Hello, everyone. We're just going to give it 1 or 2 minutes while folks join the webinar. We're going to get started momentarily. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Okay, well, because this is a short session, I am going to get started. We are recording it for anybody that still joins while we're getting started with our introductions. But first, welcome to our orientation session for the Partnering for Vaccine Equity learning community. I am Bridget Courteau. I am the Director of Group Learning for the Learning Community. And on behalf of your learning community managers at the Urban Institute and at the CDC Foundation, thanks for joining us for this brief introduction to what the Partnering for Vaccine Equity, or P4VE, as we call it for short, learning community is all about. This is the 5th session that we've held like this, as we host these types of sessions on a quarterly basis. So this session repeats information that has been shared in other orientation sessions, the most recent, which was in August. Next slide, please. Before I go further, I'm going to do a very quick review of how the session will work. You all have been muted on entry to the session. And we ask that you stay on mute unless you're speaking, and we can take you off mute if you would like to ask a question during the Q&A. And hopefully, even though it is a short session, we have typically had at least 5 minutes or so at the very end for questions and answers. So you can type a question at any point into the Q&A bar, the Q&A tab at the bottom on your Zoom taskbar, and we may answer it as we go, or we could save it for the dedicated Q&A at the end, but we definitely want to see your questions. And if you can, please try not to put your questions into chat. The chat is open. Use it to introduce yourself if you'd like, or comment on what you're hearing. But if you have a question, we would really like to see it in the Q&A so that we won't miss it. The other things that you should know about today's session is that it is only offered in English. If you're familiar with some of our learning sessions, you know we usually do offer live interpretation into Spanish. We are not offering that today, but we have during previous orientation sessions, and we've shared the Spanish language recordings of those sessions with the learning community. So and we're happy to direct you to one of those. Just send us a direct message, and we can share that with you. And again, the information is very much the same from one session to the other. So if you are hoping for Spanish, we can help you out by making sure you have the YouTube link to the most recent Spanish language orientation. We do post the slides and a recording. As I just mentioned, we post slides and recordings of all of our events on our community website and circulate them through the digest. They'll go out through the CDC managed Adult Vax Program listserv, which all learning community members should be a part of. And that is also true for this session. So there will be a set of slides and the English recording of this session on our community website, usually within a week. If you have technical difficulties at any point during the session, send an email to our community manager's inbox. That's vaxequitylearning@urban.org. It's here on the screen. We definitely want to hear about those so we can try to fix them for the future. So I already introduced myself, and for today's orientation session, I will be sharing the stage with my group learning teammate and our website's community manager, Luis Gallardo from the Urban Institute, and our partner, Laura Durda from the CDC Foundation, and she manages the Vaccine Resource Hub team. So here is a very quick look at how we'll spend the rest of our time together. So we've already done the introduction. I'm going to provide a brief overview of what the learning community is and what our group learning team offers to members. Then I'll hand things over to Laura, who's going to review the Vaccine Resource Hub and how to make the most of this vast repository of tools and resources. And then Luis will wrap up the orientation with a brief overview of the components of our digital learning community onboarding toolkit, and also a live demo of the learning community's website's main features. Next slide, please. So as learning community managers, our aim is to provide you, members of the Partnering for Vaccine Equity learning community, with space and with opportunities to connect with each other and with external subject matter experts to share promising practices and strategies that will help you implement your program activities under PAVE and also achieve your own goals around increasing vaccine coverage. So we want to connect you to each other. We want to connect you to experts. And over the course of our project, we are also documenting and helping you document what works and ultimately to build a set of resources to support longer term efforts to advance vaccine equity. And here is how we are trying to achieve those objectives. So we created and we now manage a website for the learning community. It is a private site. You do need an account to access it. Luis is going to share a lot more about the website and its features shortly, so I'm going to leave it at that. We also plan and carry out group learning events. These are virtual events, and they range from large webinars and panel presentations to smaller group Ask the Expert sessions to training workshops. They're also typically smaller group. We offer about 4 events per month on average. They're typically open to all organizations in the learning community, so those who are receiving funding through PAVE, and to others working on vaccine equity. We try to be very clear in our event announcement whether something is open to everyone, which is more typical, or closed, so it's just for those who have PAVE funding, and that is more not very typical, but occasionally happens, and we do communicate that whenever we announce an event or on the registration page. The topics for our events include addressing misinformation, training trusted messengers, partnering with other organizations in your community, the science behind vaccines, and a whole lot more. As I mentioned, we do offer live interpretation into Spanish at almost all of our events, and we record everything and we share materials from the event on our website after the fact. So that includes recordings in both English and Spanish, and any presentation slides or handouts. We know that our members are busy and some either prefer or require on-demand learning, and so we try to make sure that soon after any event, all the materials are available for those who couldn't catch it live. We coordinate 3 communities of practice, or for short, we call those COPs, and those are subgroups of learning community members that serve a common priority population. So these groups are driven by their learning community members who form the steering committee, set their agendas, and decide what they want to discuss or work on together. So our team at the Urban Institute helps with meeting coordination and whatever else the COPs might need. These COPs typically meet monthly and every quarter or 3 times a year. They also have a joint combined meeting, usually with some sort of external speaker that they've all agreed on. So currently we have 3 COPs running. They're listed here on the slide, and those are African American, African diaspora serving organizations, Hispanic Latinx serving organizations, and organizations serving Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, American Indian, and Alaska Native populations. Next slide, please. I'm going to end my remarks just with a few points about how learning community members can find out about the live group learning events that we offer. So we promote events through many different pathways to try to reach as many members as we can. We send an email to announce each live event, and these are generated by our website and usually come from our teammate Eric Wengel. So that would be the email that you would see in your inbox. Those emails are sent out when we first add an event to our calendar, and then usually again on the day of an event as a final reminder for anybody who might have missed previous announcements. And the exception to this is that if you adjust your notification settings to turn off our website emails, and you're going to learn a little bit more about that in a moment, you won't get these announcements. You can also find out about events by regularly checking in on our website's event calendar. We're going to see that soon. And the site's homepage also usually features an upcoming event with a quick access registration button right there. And for those who aren't regularly using the website, you can find event information in the weekly newsletters that are sent, or they're bi-weekly now. Actually, that change was made not too long ago. So bi-weekly newsletters that are sent by the CDC to the adult vax program listserv. And as you'll see in a bit, we also plug upcoming events at the end of each live learning event and chat the registration links. So we're going to do that today. And for some events that we want to give an extra promotional push, for instance, if they were planned in a short time or they have a short promotion window, we'll occasionally ask the CDC's PAVE project officers and technical monitors and the national PAVE organizations that support subrecipients to forward event information to all of the different partners that they're supporting. All right, and with that, I'm going to hand things over to our partner, Laura, to tell us about the Vaccine Resource Hub. It's all yours, Laura.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I really appreciate that. And just want to say welcome, everyone. My name is Laura Durda, and as Bridget mentioned, I'm a program officer here at the CDC Foundation. Bridget also explained in her overview that the vaccine, that our PAVE learning community partners have access to not only the learning community platform that you may be somewhat familiar with now, or you will be certainly after this call, but there is also a more public facing website that we created as part of this partnership as well. And so that's the Vaccine Resource Hub. And I actually have the URL. I'm going to drop it in the chat. So if you want, you can go ahead and bring it up yourselves. And the purpose of the Vaccine Resource Hub is really to operate as a public facing, almost sister site to the learning community platform. And what this website does is it provides resources that are specific, relevant, timely, and they're all scientifically evaluated for accuracy, for factual information, and they're routinely evaluated and updated as well. And so all of the resources, if you just click on that URL, everything you are able to access all of these resources without logging in. So they're free, they're accessible, and they're easily accessible. So what is the resources I keep talking about? We've really been working to curate content and materials and assets to help strengthen our partners' community engagement activities, whether that's training, training materials, webinars, toolkits, social media graphics, fact sheets, and other helpful resources that you may be looking for. They're all now all located in this central location, the Vaccine Resource Hub. And these are things that you can access, again, quickly and easily, and you can immediately upload them to your social media. If you're trying to do a post, you can use them in your, if you're creating a flyer or an email newsletter or even a paper newsletter, you can find resources, and there's two examples there on the screen, quickly, easily, and then upload them or use them on whatever medium you're trying to get out to your community or to your partners or to your staff even. And so it's really a one-stop shop to kind of find that message, find that graphic that you're looking for, to really get that message out to whomever you're trying to get it out to. Whether, like I said, whether it's your community members, whether it's your community partners, or it's even like your internal staff, program staff, things like that. So we've worked to make the site really useful for CBOs, which are a lot of our partners through the PAVE learning community, and other organizations such as our newly, we've been working to get our health jurisdictions online as well. And so a lot of this content is really curated for you all, again, to help frame and get the message out to your community or internally to your team. And we've done this because a lot of the time our organizations, our partners through the learning community, PAVE learning community, they're the ones doing the public facing work. They're the ones who are on the ground, maybe only checking your email like twice a week. You're more that public facing role. And oftentimes you don't have the time to really create an engaging asset or material or resource for your community member, for your post, for your newsletter, or even for your staff trying to train people up. And so that's the purpose. That's why we have the Vaccine Resource Hub, really for those who are looking for something easy and accessible, relevant, timely, and then able to get it out, get the message out to whom they need to get the message out to very, very easily as well. Um, and that's actually it for this slide. If you could go to the next slide, thank you. So I want to provide a few screenshots to show how you can operate and navigate the Vaccine Resource Hub website while you're on there. And so reminder real quick that this again is a public facing site. You do not have to sign on to access the materials or to even navigate the site. However, there is an option exclusively for PAVE members such as you all, to log in. You can log into the Vaccine Resource Hub itself using the same login for the learning community platform that Luis is going to tell you about shortly. And this is because there are a few features available on the Vaccine Resource Hub that are only exclusively available for PAVE members. And so when you go to sign on to the Vaccine Resource Hub, you can do so by using that sign on button. There's the yellow arrow there pointing to it. Next slide, please. So after logging in, after signing in with your learning community information, your learning community sign-on information, this is a picture of what you'll see when you sign in, and it shows you the various features that are exclusively available to PAVE members, you all. And really the difference is, let's say, or rather you'll see there that the yellow arrows are pointing to the various features that are available to you once you sign in. So first you can submit a resource. Let's say your organization has actually created a really cool flyer that ended up, attendance to your event was awesome. And so you think that flyer may be something you want to share across the network, and maybe it'll help another person with their event. You can submit it and get it evaluated to be put up on the website. Another thing, maybe you have put together a list of where community members can access a vaccine in your area, and you want to get that out to as many people, networks, partners as you can. You may want to submit it here just to help out with that and get the message out. So that's how you can use that submit a resource feature. If you forget that, you can also download that resource submission guide that will walk you through how to submit a resource. And then there is that option to go back to the learning community. You can just click, after logging in, you can click there and it'll take you to the learning community platform that Luis is going to show you in a little bit. And so those are really some of the cool features that are available to PAVE partners who log into the Vaccine Resource Hub. Okay, next slide. So going back to when you click on the home page here, I wanted to also show you some of the public facing options that we have on the website. So here, once you, again, click on that URL I put in the chat, you can see the find resources area, the create resources, and then the stories area. I'm gonna tell you more about find resources in just a moment. The create resources is if you want to create your own resource using some of the graphics, some of the stickers even that are available on the Vaccine Resource Hub. That area will help you create your own resources if you're interested. You can also go to our stories page, and that will, you're welcome to read through a lot of the stories of our PAVE partners, some of their promising practices or their innovative solutions to challenges in their communities. We've got about 90 stories up there, and they're quick reads, so about a minute or two to read through and maybe gather some neat things to do in your own community. The other thing I point out here is that the whole website is available in English, and also Spanish. So if your first language is Spanish and you think of what, navigating the website in Spanish would be much better for you, you can just toggle there, click Spanish or Espanol, and the whole website will switch over to Spanish, and that may be easier for you or even some of your local partners or internal staff, community navigators, community health workers even, might be an easier way to navigate using Spanish. Okay, next slide, please. All right, and this is what looks like, what the website looks like when you click Find Resources. And so this is where I personally spend a lot of my time, and that's because this is where you can just explore all those various resources, materials, graphics, toolkits, all the things that we have available up there. This is where you go to find it. And again, just reiterating, you do not need to sign in for this. This is readily available as soon as you just click the Find Resources button. So with this screenshot, you can see that we have a very robust and comprehensive filter function. It includes the search option to search by certain racial, ethnic community or populations. You can search by a particular language. We have many resources available in over 50 languages. You can also filter by the type of resource you're looking for. So whether it's like a video you want to post or a toolkit or graphics, fact sheet, any of that, you can just select what kind of resource you're looking for and be able to filter. That's the filter area is highlighted by that yellow area, and then right beside it is you can see like a snippet of each resource that is available. That's what each one of those squares mean on the page. Each square there shows a picture, a smaller picture of what the asset will look like. It shows the description of it is in the bold font. And then below that is what the format it's in, the race, ethnicity it's prioritizing, and then the language it's available, different languages that it's available in. You'll also see in the top right of each one of those squares, at least here on the screen, if it says new like that, the green new like banner, that means the resource has been uploaded within the last week. So that's kind of how you can navigate the find resources section, especially that enhanced filter and search capability that we have. The last thing I'll say on this is maybe you just aren't sure what you're looking for. And so we've tried to build out a section that will help you to learn what's available or maybe learn how to start using this website. So if you want, one way to do that is to click on the Discover section. So you'll see up there, Find Resources where we're at. You'll see that blue or dark banner right underneath. It says Search, Trending, and Discover. If you click Discover, that is where you'll find like the recently added resources and materials. You can see what others are downloading and using most often. You can see the trending topics that a lot of our resources are curated from. And then you can also see like conversation starters that are really working to address some misinformation that may be circulating at the time. So I do recommend clicking on Discover and seeing how you can start seeing how you can use a lot of the resources and assets that are available here on the Vaccine Resource Hub. And next slide, please. I think, yeah. And so I'm going to turn it over back to Luis and the urban team for the rest of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura and Bridget, for all that helpful information covered. And thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Luis, and I'll be covering the website portion of this orientation session. So usually I would go a little bit more into detail on the onboarding toolkit, but for the sake of time, I really want to dive into the demo. So I'll just quickly cover that. These are just some screenshots of what is in the toolkit, which Bridget will be linking in the chat. So you can also access them on your own desktop. And some of these materials are available in English and Spanish. Here you kind of see the general learning community resources. There's some fact sheets and frequently asked questions, as well as some fact sheets that cover some of the stuff that Laura just touched on, which are the Vaccine Resource Hub and Learning Community website, and tutorials for things like how to register for an event, which I will get into in the demo. So before fully diving in to the website, this is just the screenshot of the homepage that covers some of the main functions. And this is the email that you will see when you first are registered for an account. So keep an eye out for the info@Vaccine Resource Hub email address after you request an account, which if you are interested in requesting an account and you don't yet have one, you can find the link to the Google form in the tutorial on how to request an account. It's like an FAQ document, which is in the link. So we'll be using this checklist to guide the tutorial. So I'll quickly stop sharing my screen and switch over to the website.
And while you're doing that, Luis, I just chatted the registration form too. So that is
Oh,
the
great, thank
way
you.
to request. Many times CDC project officers or technical monitors will forward the names of program members to be added. But we also have the self-serve request if you're not sure and you want to request an account, or you know that you have not already had someone else request one on your behalf.
Thank you. And so I'll just quickly cover some of the main functions here. So this is the home page. Usually we'll have a banner of the upcoming event. As you can see, we have one for today's right here. Here on the top right corner is your profile page. So here's where you can go to, update your profile picture or add any demographic information that you'd like your pronouns, a brief bio, and there's some other additional areas that you can fill out here as well. What I'll do next is just kind of go from left to right here on the top of the navigation bar. Bridget already covered earlier how you can register for some of our upcoming events, and this is the calendar where you can see what events we have. As you can see, we have one already set for January, and we'll post both our urban events and webinars as well as any partner events that we receive. If your organization has a partner or has an event going on and you would like to advertise it on our events calendar, you can go on the home page, scroll down here to where it says help shape our event calendar heading, and to the right you can see the form where you can share an event that we can publicize, or if you have a suggestion for a topic that you would like covered, you can also submit a topic idea here. I'll go back up to the top and go to the peer directory. So currently we're actually working on updating everyone's information so that you can make geographic searches. So currently if I looked up I always look up Bridget to make sure she's still here. But here's Bridget's information. You can look up people at an individual level, you can send a message or add as contact. And what will hopefully be the goal by the end of this month is to be able to search by city and state. So if your organization has like an event going on in person, you want to see what other members from the learning community are present in your area, this would be a good tool for that. You can see some of my Urban Institute colleagues have already updated their information here as well. And some of the last portions of the website that I'll cover are just the discussion forum site. So here you can see any questions or any resources that people are uploading. You can go through some of the past threads. There's like about 1,000, but here's a preview of some of the things that you would see covered here. And our newest page is the group learning resource library. So here is where you can find, besides the link that Bridget sent, we have the onboarding materials here as well. So you have some of the tutorials here. And then you have some of the fact sheets and the checklist that I shared a screenshot of earlier. We also have all of our past event materials here all the way back to 2021, and they're broken down by month. So you can go and explore some of the past events that we've had and take a look at some of the resources that we've shared, like the website recordings or any additional resources that came from those events. So you'll see the materials from this session here as well in the November folder. And I think that pretty much covers it. I'll stop sharing my screen and just go back to the presentation really quickly. 1 second.
And as I'm wrapping up, I know you have a couple more things, Luis, but we do have a YouTube channel. Our recordings are generally loaded onto YouTube, and then we embed the links on our resource library. So another way to sort of find out what we're doing and keep track of some of the recordings and events is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Luis can maybe chat as I'm wrapping up what to search for in YouTube to get that. But anyway, back to you, Luis. I know the checklist is part of the onboarding toolkit. So if folks want to sort of move along and make sure they're hitting all the different parts of the website, you all can use that as something sort of fun to keep you moving along your own orientation at your own pace. Oh, thank you, Laura. Laura did the YouTube channel for us. So we are out of time. So that went by quickly. These sessions always do. So we're going to go just 1 or 2 minutes later, just so we can have you all fill out our event satisfaction poll. This is part of how we assess our performance, and so we appreciate it if you would participate in this poll for us. And then there are a couple of things I mentioned. We plug upcoming events and other things we want you to know at the end of each live event. And so there are two things I'm going to share with you today. The first is that if you are going to the American Public Health Association meeting, which is, oh my gosh, next week already, we want to know about it. We have, so first of all, we've been doing things over the last couple of months to lead up to APHA. So we have some resources that we have been sharing with folks we know are interested and are going to APHA. We're also have some resources to help you navigate the meeting that we can share with you. And we're planning a casual kind of happy hour gathering on the Monday evening of the conference, which is in Atlanta this year. So if you are going and you would like to let us know so that you can hear about what we're doing and get access to these resources I just mentioned, we have a Google form and I'm chatting it right now, and we would love to know that you will be there too, so that we can maybe meet up with you. And then we also have one upcoming event on the calendar that is firm with registration open, and that is a webinar on Monday, January 2nd, 2024 at 1 p.m. And the focus of that will be creating culturally and linguistically relevant health education materials. And we hope to see many of you there. We are working on a couple of mid-December events right now, so please stay tuned for some December programming, but nothing is firm enough to share the date. But we're working on a couple of things that look like they're going to be that kind of second week of December, the week of the 11th. So we'll share those as we firm them up. If anyone has questions, I see we still have a couple dozen people. Please send them our way. I can stay a little bit later. And I don't know about my co-presenters, but I'm happy to stay on since we did run out of time a little bit today for a dedicated Q&A. So we can stay on the line, or you can always send questions to us to the Vax Equity Learning inbox, which we can type now too. So there are many ways to reach us. So I'm going to type feel free to send us any questions you might have about what we do or how you can access it. Okay, so I think let's stay on just 1 or 2 minutes longer, Luis and Laura, before we close, just in case somebody does have any questions. But otherwise, thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you at an upcoming learning event. Okay. I think we're good to close the webinar. Thanks, Luis. Thanks, Laura. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.